This is the start of what I'm hoping is going to be the absolute last word in Titan Z content. So I have decided that I am going to put out a ton of Geforce Titan Z SLI content. Why am I going to do that? For fun. So I am building, again, what I'm hoping is going to be the ultimate Titan Z build. So I've made some selections on parts here. I've acquired this stuff over the last month or so, and I am ready to do a full build now. So to start with, the thing that's going to make this possible, hopefully, if it works the way I want, is this. This is a, oops, there goes my SSD. Hopefully I didn't break it, because those are actually quite easy to break. So this is a ASUS X99 workstation board. So this is, what is the specific model? This is the ASUS X99E WS/USB 3.1. I didn't really care about the USB 3.1. What I actually bought this for is because, so, kind of see here, all these PCIe slots, specifically X16, 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 X16. This is primarily going to be a build for my my Titan Zs. But if I decide to do so, if I decide to do any 4-way SLI, maybe 4-way 980 Ti's, maybe 4-way 780 Ti's, maybe even going back as far as 4-way GTX 580s. I don't really know. I've actually got the cards for 3-way EVGA classified 580s, so, you know. But the main thing I got it for is so I can put a Titan Z here and a Titan Z here, so that I would have that much space in between the Titan Zs, because the case I'm going to use has enough space below the board and before the power supply for me to do that. So that'll let me keep it a lot cooler than the situation where you normally cook one of the two cards. So that's primarily what we got going on here. I also I like workstation boards. I find that they tend to be more capable, and I mean, gaming boards look cool, but especially for X99, this workstation board, everything I've read is that this board is the shit. So that's what we went with. And then I ended up with a pair of these EVGA 1300 watt power supplies. Technically it's overkill, but because I want to be capable of doing 4-way SLI on this board, I figured, well, I should probably get something like this. So EVGA 1300 G2. Now keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is just lucky deals I picked up, so I chose a lot of it based on that's what I ended up with on hand. We've got 32 gigs, 4x8 Corsair Vengeance RGB. I may even turn the RGB off, but for the time being, I don't have a non-RGB set, so that's what we're using. Then we have the star of the show. I only have one in a box, but I have two of these. This is the EVGA, or I guess this one's EVGA, but the cooler on them is all the same. This is the Titan Z. Really shouldn't need any introduction, but as you're watching the rest of the build video, you'll see what this thing is. We're going to be running 2 of them, SLI. It's going to be awesome. I already have a build set up that way, but I wanted the better cooling. I didn't want to start really going hard on the cards until I had cooling that I was happy with, which this build will have. Then we have a full, you can kind of see the corners of them here, a full loadout of Noctua fans. Noctua? Noctua? I don't know. Someone's going to bitch. Whatever. These up here are the 2000 RPM industrial PPC. Those are probably going to go on the 240 millimeter AIO. But I also have a 280 millimeter AIO, which I could use probably the slower Maybe these silent 800 RPM, because I'm not going to be doing a lot of overclocking. This is not an overclocking build. It could, but it's not what it's for. So I could go that route. The bulk of the cooling is going to be these. These are the 3000 RPM industrial PPC 140s. These move just a shit ton of air. Okay, a ton of air is going to get moved by these fans. And I'm going to have 2 in the front, 1 in the back, and probably that's all. But I do have a 4th if, for whatever reason, the way I decide to do the liquid cooler, I, for whatever reason, can utilize it. It's an option. So I don't know. I'm not going to use all of these fans. There's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 Noctua fans. I'm not going to use all 11, but I have a full set of Noctua fans that I can use as I see fit. So I can do whatever cooling I want. I originally wanted this to be an RGB build in a tempered glass case, but I haven't been able to find a tempered glass case of the particular size and specific set of features, mainly being enough space between the bottom, you can't really see it here, but between the bottom PCIe here and the power supply. So to be able to mount the cards the way I want, that was the main thing. And this was the first case that popped up that had it. And I don't really feel like trying to hunt down a different model case. So that's what we ended up with. So I may upload this separate or I may not. I don't know yet. But this is the start of the build. So stay tuned and we are going to jump right into actually building the system. On this one, I'm going to be doing the video in segments. Part of it is because my camera seems to... I have a nice camera too. I don't have a crappy camera. I have a really expensive camera, but apparently, at least the way I'm doing it, running off USB-C power, the thing overheats after like an hour or something. So we're going to break this up. It's also for the purpose of being able to do bookmarks in the video. So we're going to break this up in sections. What we're going to start with today, I may even have to do this, may be a multi-day build, but I want to get started because I want to start playing with this build. I'm tired of just talking about it. I want to build it. So we're going to start this build with cooling. So the first thing I'm going to do is install all the cooling. So, oh, that sucks. The only way to... The only way to... Why would you do that? That annoys me. So the only way to have... Well, that's dumb. Okay, so the logos on the fans, the only way to have them face the right direction. And they look kind of cool, too. The only way to have them face the right... well, I guess I could. We'll figure it out. You know what? I'll use extenders. I'll do whatever I have to do. I'll figure it out later. Let's see here. You know, I thought... No, let's do this. Let's install them inside. I kind of want them visible. They're not going to be... Obviously, they're not RGB fans, but I'm thinking having kind of a cool all Noctua build. You know, I think we could get behind that. So we are going to do... Man, I wish I had somebody... You know, none of my friends want to do YouTube videos with me. I wish they would, because, man, I could use a camera person sometimes. So we're going to start with we're going to do 2 of the Noctua. I need to just look that up. How do you properly pronounce Noctua? I'm sure somebody has, like, interviewed the CEO or something. How do you properly pronounce Noctua? Okay, so we're going to do 2 facing in. And I think Well, I think I'm leaning towards, I think I want this to be open space. I think I'm leaning in the direction of open space. So instead of installing the hard drives, because the thing is, I'm running all of my machines or all my games off of external USB 3.0 enclosures, which I'm finding are generally sufficient for the purpose. The newer ones I'm using are actually quite high performance, surprisingly. So I wonder... Yeah, I'm really not thrilled with the way they did this. Like I said, worst case scenario, I'll just order some fan brackets or some fan extenders, but man, if I had thought about that, I would have ordered them yesterday, so I'd just have them. I might have some that'll work though, but I think I may have already used up all my 4-pin ones, because these are 4-pin fans. Now, I did already do a pre-clean on all of the fans. So yeah, so we got the 2 in here. So the fans are all clean already. So all we have to do is install them. It takes, maybe I'll do a video sometime just of a fan cleaning, just cleaning a fan all by itself. It can be quite the involved process, actually. I only actually do it if they're nice fans like these. If they're crappy fans, I don't even bother. I just throw them out. And I have... So what tends to happen is that I have to choose between cooling and aesthetics. And typically, okay, see that? Oops, let's see. Now you can see it. Ah, there we go. So you got that nice. Too bad they're not the. Too bad these are black. It'd be kind of cool if they were that Noctua. The tan and brown look, but whatever. Okay, and then we're gonna do one of the high performance ones on the back here, and these are mega high performance. The amount of air that these fans move is really unreal. It's I think it was like, I think when I looked it up, it was something in the neighborhood of man, what was it? It was like 100, like upper 100, something like 140, 150, something like that, CFM, which, to give you an idea, like a normal fan, like normal case fans, are usually going to top out at something like, from the research I did, like 50 or 60 for fairly high performance ones. And even like the highest performance RGB fans out there still didn't hit the kind of numbers that really high performance case fans, non-RGB case fans hit. It appears there's just an assumption that if you're buying high performance fans, RGB isn't your gig, which is kind of a shame. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to have something like this, but with the fans RGB. But on this particular build, I am sacrificing everything for cooling. I am only interested in cooling performance on this one. So it is what it is. Okay, so then we're going to do, I think I have 2 of these that match. Let's see, 800, 800, unless they all match. Oh, no, they don't. You got, too bad they're not all this. You got 2 800s and a 1500. And I'm going to swap one of these over. It looks like I'm missing one of them. It's kind of stupid, who cares? But, ooh, and you know what? That fan is actually not clean. Let's, here, I'll do a little mini fan cleaning clinic for you guys. So, it's pretty, well, okay, so these are 140s. 140s are really easy. See, I'm just kind of cleaning the blades. 140s are typically easy because there's usually a lot of space, because they've usually got big blades, like heavy-duty blades, with big blade spacing. And then what you do is you get this inner circle here. And then sometimes you'll have dust built up on the underside of the fan struts. So you got to kind of get this in here. That's usually the best way to do it. Dang it, I knew that was going to happen. So we should be able, actually, let me see if I can pull back a little. How far can I, okay, this is, oh, I didn't realize I was, okay, that's zoomed, okay, so I'm zoomed all the way in. This is the first time I've used this lens for this purpose. I usually use not nearly as wide of a lens. Okay, so, did I not clean either of those? We got 800. I guess I didn't clean the outer edge on this one. So the goal here is really just to start from fully cleaned fans. There's no reason to use them dirty. It's just laziness. What did I do? Oh, there it goes. Ooh, and it looks like it's even got some dust built up. Sometimes you'll see dust built up on the front of the blades. It's kind of unusual, but it does happen. That one has that going on. Okay, so we're going to blow out. So this is going to be right here, like that. So then we're going to want so the fans are going to be exhaust, and we're going to have both the blades right. Let me see. Oh, dang it. Let's do that. Okay. The liquid cooler is it appears fairly reasonably modern Corsair, and it did come, it appears, with ML ML 140s, which are the magnetic levitation ones, which I actually had considered using. I do have a full set of the non-RGB ML fans, and I had considered going that route, but I came to the conclusion that the only thing I cared about on this build is maximum potential for cooling. I would have ordered more of the 3000 RPM 140s. However, we're not going to... So first of all, even at like barely any, just minimum air movement, we're already... Wait, did I do that wrong? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, good. I've done it wrong before many times. I'm trying not to do it wrong. Okay, so yeah, that's right. So I came to the conclusion that the Noctua was just a slightly better option than anything really Corsair has to offer. Corsair has good fans, but I was really looking for... where is it? There we go. Okay, 800. Okay, so that's the odd man out. Yeah, I just came to the conclusion that the Noctua option was a better option for kind of a airflow focused. Some of the Corsairs were close, but they weren't quite all the way. The other option I had looked at was I had looked at potentially using some 8,000 RPM Arctic server grade fans. But when I realized I was probably going to be able to use the server motherboard to put as much spacing between the two GPUs as I'm going to here, I decided to go, look, I didn't mind if this build ended up really loud. I didn't mind. That's fine. But I didn't want it to be like gratuitously loud. I didn't want it to be loud if it didn't have to be. And the 140 millimeter Noctua option seemed to be a better route. So I believe we're going to have all 140s here. Okay, so let's put this out. So we're basically just pre-running the fans and cooling and all of that. So the cooling will be kind of pre-installed. Too bad they don't have a power supply shroud for these, but that wasn't really a thing back then, back when this case was new. So, and we are going to need some. Actually, ooh, I got some here. Let's see here. How many do I need? Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use some of the kind of lay flat style screws just in case. I'm probably going to run this thing without a... that's interesting. I'm probably going to run this thing without a shroud. Or not shroud, without a, let's see here, I'll put it up here. I don't even know what the right. Okay, let's get this lined up. Okay, so. Oh, okay, they go, oh, that's not good. Okay, we're going to have to get creative there. You know, you can't see, okay. The way they have this set up, we're going to need, I guess maybe I have something that'll work that. What will this do? No, that's too long. Yeah, I might have to go find some sort of whatever you call those things, washers. I might have to go find some washers to hold. Well, maybe not. We'll see here. Let's see. Oh, that doesn't work. This is actually really odd. I'm not sure why they did this way. Because there's no... Let's see. I don't think any amount of movement on there is gonna, yeah, that won't line it up. So I don't know why they did that way. That's kind of really odd. So we're gonna have to, let's see here. I think I might have washers that'll make that work. I don't know if they're big enough though. I think I keep them with my, usually I keep them with my liquid cooling stuff. Oh, no, you know what? They might be big enough. Oh, you know what? I know what's going on here. Oh, they were expecting liquid coolers with washers. I didn't even think about that. Okay, well, so much for flush mount. That will, yeah, so we'll have to just leave the oh, the case came with a magnetic, oh, come on, give me at least one more. The case came with one of those magnetic dust filters. Darn it. Okay, those are missing. I guess they're in with my long screws. Maybe. Let's see here. Okay, I got one more. So with the way that this is configured, you're going to want to have at least one screw. Okay, so we've got at least, you know, I'm debating whether or not I need it to be even. I don't think I do. This isn't a build that's going to go to a buyer. This is for me, so I can be a little less picky about some of the aesthetics on this. I still want it to look good though. I'm kind of picky about that. Okay, and you. Okay, so we have our all Noctua cooling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 140s. I guess I could put another. I'm not going to. We're not going to. This will be virtually silent. These will be... I've used these already. They can get a little loud. They're not horrific though. So it looks like we're not going to use any of the 120s. So that'll conclude the cooling system install. So I'm gonna stop this video, and I'm gonna do a separate video for each of the individual components. So stay tuned. Now we are moving on to the motherboard installation. And lucky us, we have this massive case. And so with all that space, we can get all these cables and stuff out of the way. So I've already pre-installed the I/O shield. What's going on here? There we go. Yeah, dust in there. And then it looks like, looking at, looks like we've got, do we have large? Oh, it looks like we might have small-sized why you gotta get this right. Sometimes just something as stupid as one of these screws is a pain. Oh, there we go. Okay. So it looks like we are gonna need the smaller sized screws. Let's see here. Okay, let's try a first one. Oh, no, I was right the first time. So it looks like well, maybe these screws are just, I do not want to screw those in because they're too tight. And what happens when they're too tight is they're a pain in the butt to remove later. Let's try this. What the heck? Okay, this is really odd. Okay, we're going to need to address this before we screw this in. So it's acting like they're... No? Okay. Okay, that's a bad sign. It's neither large nor small. If they're all like that, this could be trouble. I'm thinking I might have... Okay, so that one worked. I'm thinking maybe I have one jacked up standoff. Okay, there we go. I just needed a little bit of help. Okay. So let's put this back in. Try that again. Hey, I point out in my description, these are the full builds: the good, the bad, and the ugly, start to finish. Can't even begin to say how many times I've seen someone do a build on YouTube. I go looking for, you know, this build with this set of parts, and whatever it is I actually want to see isn't there to be seen. So I'm trying to do these builds complete. Okay, so then what do we want to do? Debating power supply, or I think I want to do the cooler. That'll go perfect. So just gotta grab the I've got another system that came out of that I gotta grab the standoffs for the socket out of. Okay, so with X99 they don't have back brackets. They have screw threading directly on the socket. I believe this has been this way on, I believe it's this way on every X99 board. And it's actually kind of an unusually large threading, and so You probably don't have, so if you needed to jerry rig something into those, you probably wouldn't be able to, because they are a unique threading size specific to X99. Okay, and then we're going to use tried and true, if I have enough left. I need to order more MX4. Okay, it looks like I am running out. I tend to go with the I'd rather have too much than too little camp. Okay, so put that on. And that sits real flush too. Some of them, the things, you can't ever really figure out how they're supposed to go. Okay. Now, I don't believe that this particular build is going to run particularly hot on the CPU side. It's not an overclock build. This is really a GPU-focused build. I hadn't decided 100%, but I'm leaning towards this just being a unique, special build explicitly for my my Titan Zs. So I think I may even actually buy. Okay, we're gonna need our favorite zip ties. Hooray! Never can have too many zip ties. Okay, so I am leaning towards this being a Titan Z focused build. Maybe Titan Z's some of the time, and Titan X Maxwell's, because this generation of tech, you would have had people using the X99 with both Titan X Maxwell's, GTX 980s, GTX 980 Ti's. The X99 platform came out. The X99 was relevant a lot longer than the Titan Z. They did coexist, but Titan Z became irrelevant really fast. But my goal with this build, as I mentioned, is essentially to have the ultimate for this generation of hardware, specifically GPU hardware, though. Okay, so we're going to run these. It's crazy because this case has such big grommeting. You can almost fit your hand. You can almost fit it right through on the other side. Okay, but it's still being a pain. Let's do this. Can you see that? You can almost see that here. Let's zoom out a little, see if you can see it. Nah, there's not really anything I can do to make it so you can really see it. But we're running all of the cabling that came with the AIO through one of these cable management slots. I think, let's see. Yeah, I might be able to. So I don't know if you can run. I don't know if I'll be able to hit full speed on the fans. I'm a little worried they're not going to run full speed with Oh, where is that thing? Man, I bought a number of brand new Noctua fans, and I think I should have the splitters. We're not really trying to split that much. We're only trying to split 2 fans. It's not like we're trying to run to 3 or something. If I have to, I'll order a fan controller, but from what I can tell, because I played around with the Corsair one, and it didn't seem like it was actually capable of driving these fans at their maximum. As far as I could tell, they'll only run at their maximum when I ran them off of the motherboard. So, man, where did those things go? Yeah, I know I had one. I had it out just yesterday. It was a Noctua splitter to split. Is this it? This might be it. What do we got? Oh, that's interesting. Wonder... maybe that's what I want. We might try to use this. I didn't know I had this. I would rather run these fans at maximum speed than have them running speed controlled. In this case, I'm going to run them max all the time. So if I can, I'm just going to hook them straight up to the power supply. Okay, so let's do the power supply. Luckily, this one was modular, all of them. So I was able to completely unplug all of the cables. Okay. Hopefully it works. One of the power supplies I got from the guy actually didn't work, and I don't remember testing this one, so your mileage may vary. Let's see here. I'll probably test, make sure the system generally works before I put the Titans in it, just so I don't risk damaging the Titans. The whole purpose of this build is to not risk damaging the dang Titans, so... So we're doing... let's see if I can make it visible. Just doing the standard power supply install. The way we're doing this build, it's not like my other builds. This one will be powerable long before I actually complete the build. Okay. Actually, yeah, let's do that, and then let's grab all the cables just sitting here. This one, I do believe I have a full set of cables, too. That was actually, that was part of the reason why... Okay. I guess it'll be easier. That was part of the reason why I kept this one. I would have put it in a system to sell, but, ooh, and I'm missing... Where did that go? Come on, I had all of the grommets in here. Where did the grommet go? That's not what I wanted. So we're missing... That makes me unhappy. We're missing one of the... What the heck could it have gone? No, it's got to be one of these two. Maybe. Is it one of these? No, it isn't. It's smaller. Gosh darn it. Oh, there it is. Is that it? No? I have a ton of these bigger ones that are too big. I have no idea what they came off of. But I'm missing one of those other ones. So that's a little bit odd. We might just have to build it without. I'm not going to sit around waiting, looking for that dang thing. It is either here. I do not see it. So we're going to have to live without it, at least for the time being. Okay, so... And I know it's here somewhere. That's the really annoying part. It's definitely here. Okay. So let's do this. Let's get the plugs in. Okay, so that one's in place. Okay, get that in. And then I believe that I should have two of the, it's probably totally unnecessary, but I did want to run both of the whatchamajigger, the 8 pins. The heck are they, though? Okay. We got CPU and don't tell me I don't have two of them. I think I don't have two of them. I'm gonna have to grab one that I had the other day that looked the same and hope it really is the same. Gonna guess it is. I've actually been finding, contrary to what they tell you, to never ever mix these things. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, those are identical. Those are definitely identical. They'll tell you never ever use these if you're not 100% sure, but I've actually been finding that with the 12-volt direct stuff, I am finding that they are often all the same. I've seen a few power supplies that use plugs that won't physically plug, but even those, I'd be willing to bet the actual pinout is probably the same. Okay, so we're gonna do... I guess we might as well... Wait a sec, where are they though? Ooh, they are up there. Closer to this side. That's actually kind of good though, because these can be a pain in the butt to install. Come on. Okay, go over. If you're really tight when you go to do it, they definitely can be a pain in the butt. But when you have this much workspace with them, it's pretty easy to just put them in and then pull all the excess out. Okay. And most of the time, these will consist of 2 parts. Sometimes they can kind of snap together. Sometimes they don't, though. Sometimes they're just 2 separate parts. Yeah, in this case, they're literally just 2 separate parts. I'd argue the snappables are probably a little more common. Okay, and then we just pull that through. That's interesting. Not very... It's not very visible. These have some really, really heavy-duty rubber thingies on them. Let's do that. And those don't quite match up, but that's okay. Now, one of the advantages to having a back plate with your liquid cooler is that you guys will start to notice that a lot of the time I will actually zip tie to the back plate, which is a pretty handy way to do it, actually. So let's do this. Let's do that for now. So that'll keep everybody in place. Oh wait, I don't have to do it that way. We had another grommet over there I didn't see. Actually, I might go that route for that one too. When you clip these, you got to be really careful. Just FYI. Always be really careful when you're clipping. Oh, it's too tight. Wanted to go that route, but... No, let's just do this. No, let's go that route. Gosh darn it, I can't decide. Even when I am being careful and actively trying not to clip cables, when I clip zip ties, I still occasionally do it. So you gotta be really careful when you're doing that. Okay, so there's like an inch of space back here for cable management, so you're good on cable management. Okay. Well, at least that one is far enough over that I can lay it flat. So usually these are in such a place where they're exactly in the right spot for you to make it so it doesn't lay flat, or so that it can't lay flat. Okay. Now, the thing you can do with this, once you have this in place, you can actually zip tie other cables to the cable that you put in place. So let's do this. Let's some SATA. We're going to run that. There's a ton of SATA stuff. I'm being way pickier about this build than I really need to be. Okay, so we were going to do... Oh, for the love of God. Okay, there you are. At least this thing has... So let's do this. Let's do... So all of that. There's 2 fans. Actually, the fans on this can connect to the AIO's own. Because I don't actually need to... I don't actually need to run the AIO fans at anything close to high performance. Because as I was getting at before when I was talking about it, we're not going to be overclocking the CPU. And under normal usage, like an absolute minimal amount of liquid flow and airflow is actually sufficient for this particular use case. Okay, so we're going to zip tie all of this. Boom. Keep it all out of the way. Of course, that would be forgotten. I'm gonna have this whole dang thing covered in zip ties. I may clip one of these. I'm gonna clip this one. This is where you gotta be really careful when you're clipping like that. This is why you buy them in the thousands, so that you don't have to worry about wasting them. Okay. So there's that. Let's do one more. I want this all in one bundle that stays in one place. Okay, so then we hook probably the middle one. Let's do this. Do that. Bam. Okay. And then we'll do this guy. If that works the way I want, that might actually cover us for all of our fans. So let's do this. Bam. Bam. This might be easier than I was expecting. Bam. Okay, so then we need to test this. So let's see, we've got all the power connected. I'm gonna guess that this has a board-mounted power switch. Yes, it does. So then we're just gonna put a random GPU on it, something I just don't care about. These usually work pretty well. These are my 8 gig Radeon embedded cards. I've got several of them. They're very good for this type of thing. Gonna see how... I might want to reuse this one. I'm not sure how much space I've got there. Not really going to know for certain how I want to do the GPU configuration. Well, oops, I need one of those because that's going to have a 2 slot. Actually, it's going to have a 3 slot. The Titan Z is it has a 3 slot bracket, but the card itself is, by modern standards, a small 2.5 slot card. Like, it's smaller than like maybe a 1080 Ti or something like that. It's probably more on par with like a small 4070 or something like that, for you, those of you familiar with those. Okay, so what we want to, oh, and we're going to want RAM. Definitely want RAM. The RAM is my biggest question mark. I'm always worried. At least this thing has a code out, though. Okay, so they want... Oh, it doesn't even specify. Darn it. Looks like I was running the gray before. I'm going to bet it's usually the gray ones. I think that's for aesthetic purposes, actually, at least partly. So, interesting little tidbit of information. Maybe there's an exception to this, but so far I have found that X99 cannot interface with the color controls, with the controls for RGB memory. I think it's because X99 is first generation DDR4, and so they just hadn't figured it out yet. Okay, so in theory, we should be able to turn this on now and get video out of it. So let's see what we get. So I think I might be able to back the monitor out enough to show, or back the camera out enough to show the monitor. Okay, let's see. No, let's do that one, and USB. Okay, so I should be able to just flip it on. Got power. That's a good sign. Let's see what it does. See, now those really... Okay, maybe I don't want it that loud. There's a lot of airflow. This is not a good sign. It is possible that this memory is not compatible with this board. It's unlikely, but it is, and it's not even that fast, but it is possible. Let's see what it does. No. Let's see what it does without memory in it at all. Well, that is a very, very bad sign. Because I didn't test it extensively, but when I got it from the eBay seller I got it from, I did do a basic plug-in power on, and it did work. Let's try the memory that I received with it and see what that does. I have had some finicky memory issues, especially, man, I see these people that talk about overclocking the hell out of this thing. It's true, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I can't even get XMP to work, to be honest. Okay, let's see if that does anything different. Oh, it is. It is doing something different. Let's see what we get. It might work. Okay, it works, so we're not screwed. And that's actually really interesting because that the Vengeance is the same speed as that Crucial. Let's see what happens if I put one back in. Let's see what happens here. Wow. It just straight up does not like that memory. Well, that's a shame, because I wanted 4 matching. Let's just make sure that it's... It's possible we have a bad stick or two as well. No, straight to that apparent RAM error. So it looks like the Vengeance RGB is a no-go. I guess it's going to be HyperX. I really wanted 4 matching sticks, to be honest, but whatever. Okay, let's see if this works. I guess this is fairly common memory, so I can... should work. The heck? What? Oh, that's not DDR4. That's funny. I thought that was DDR4. That's DDR3. That's weird. How did that get mixed in? Okay, I guess HyperX it is. This HyperX is supposed to be super fast stuff too, so if this works, and the Vengeance, that Vengeance is way slower. So if this works, and that Vengeance doesn't, then we have either dead RAM or a compatibility error, like a straight compatibility error, not like just, oh, it's too fast, it's too slow. Like, those sticks don't work with this board. Okay, so let's turn it on again, see what it does. And it's possible that we have a super finicky board. I think it might work. Gonna work for me? Okay, I think it might be working this time. That should be, yep, I think blue means, yep, there we go. Okay, what do we got? Yep, 32 gigs. That's going to be temporary memory. Let's trying to think how I want to do this. I think I'm going to try to run, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. So this one should be able to run, that fan will run off of the header for case fan. One of these will run, either it will split, because I don't think these cables, I'll have to look and see what I can, dang it. I guess let's do this. Okay, so one of them, yeah, so the cables aren't long enough. So we'll need splitters or lengtheners. Okay, so I'm going to call this good for the initial motherboard and testing. So I'm going to try to find some cable lengtheners and a few other things, and then we'll be back and we'll start with kind of the secondary part of the main build here. So we are back. It's actually a couple of days later. I did decide that I wanted to individually connect the fans to the headers on the motherboard. I wanted a little more control over them. I initially didn't. The initial plan was I was just going to run them flat out. But I came to the conclusion that I came to the conclusion that I want a little more control. Part of it's because I plan on maybe using this build a little more extensively than I had originally planned. So I want it to be more day-to-day usable. Okay, so continuing on with the extreme cable management. Here's another trick you may or may not have seen. Can you see that? You can't see that. We are zip tying a wire to the fan using one of the, oops, that's already cut. No, it's not. We're using the screw mount holes on the back side of the, screw mount hole on the back side of the fan to keep the fan cord cable out of the way. Bam. I don't know how well you can see that. It's kind of hard to show. So just kind of zip tied the cabling to the corner of the fan. And I just realized my clippers are missing. There they are. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use, because the way that this case is set up, well, I guess I could do it up here. No, that's still too short though. This case isn't really best set up for the type of cable management I'm doing. So the way we're going to do it is we are going to use one of these hard drive trays as a mount for cabling. How do they have these set up like that. And the reason I'm doing that is because, well, I need the mount for the cabling, but I'm not planning on mounting 3 internal 2.5 SSDs in this build. That's just not part of this build. Like, I really wanted to leave all aspects of the case functional. Like, I didn't want to do it this way, but in this case, it's not necessary for me to have all of this fully functional. Honestly, at this point, I could see maybe installing one 2.5-inch drive in this build. Maybe. Probably not even that, though. Let's see here. Let's do it on the inner edge. That way, the other ones are fully functional. Okay. So then we just zip tie these. I do want the build like inside the case to look more or less the way the case is designed to look with a completed build, but okay. Darn it. Stay out of the way. There we go. Stay there. Okay. And then you go there. Let's see where the second one is going to come from. So I got these cable extensions. I've got them in 6-inch and 12-inch. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to need for certain, so let's see. What do we want for the other one? Where's the other one going? I thought there was one. I thought there was a second fan header here somewhere. Maybe not. I guess it's. I thought there was one in this area, but I guess not. No, looks like we're going to go this guy here. You know what, though? Well, let's see. Yeah, we're probably going to need the longer one for this. I figured I'd need at least one of each. Okay. Let's at least hide that so we can. I guess that hides plenty like that. Maybe not. Let's see here. Part of the reason why I want this build to look nice is because I do plan on making a ton of videos with this build. And so it doesn't have to be RGB, but I at least wanted it to look decent, you know? Okay. And then we'll just run this right there. Bam. Oh, I'm missing a thing there too. Now, I wonder if I have. Maybe I'm not. Oh, maybe it doesn't have one. I was thinking there was maybe a grommet there, but looking at this edge, the way they have it, I'm thinking there was never a grommet there. That's It's kind of interesting, actually. I would have thought they'd put a grommet there. So I guess the way we'll do it is we'll just put a zip tie through this hole. And sometimes you gotta get creative. Making sure you do not over tighten the zip ties when you do this. You do not want to over tighten your zip ties. It actually took me a really long time. It took me years to figure out that some of the issues I was having with systems were because I was over tightening the zip ties. It seems common sense now, but okay. So we're just going to run this along the main cable. And the extenders that I got are nice sleeved extensions, and so they look nice. Okay, so I'm going to do that, just kind of tuck those there. One of the cool things, too, about doing my builds the way I do them is that as I do these types of builds, let's clip that and use one there. When I'm doing these kind of builds that are like personal show builds, it kind of moves the skills forward a little, you know? So maybe I do, like I figure out how to do something, or I'll find a way to do something that I like, and then I use that on my next build for a system that I sell. Okay, so then, let's see, what is next? So then we want to make sure that let's do this guy. So I'll just go right there. I'll kind of tuck under there. We can do that. Tuck that under there as well. That mostly gets that out of the way. We only have like one or two little places we got to zip. Yeah, they need to release like literally the only thing you would have to do is put tempered glass, and I believe they already have a USB-C front panel upgrade. So literally all you'd have to do is tempered glass and put the USB-C upgrade on all of them going forward, and you could sell this as a modern case, I think. My understanding was that the 750D actually has quite a, shall we say, cult following, I thought. Okay, so we've got all of our primary cabling, except PCIe for the GPUs. So, let's see here. Oh look, a new Linus Tech Tips video. Just what we all need. Okay, so we've pretty much got the ultimate clean build. I did order, because I like the way the RAM configuration, if you do it right in these looks. So I did order 4 8 gig sticks of Corsair DDR4 LPX. That's the really low profile. And actually, I have already 4 gig sticks of it in red, and then the ones that are coming are black. So I'm gonna put them in. I'm gonna actually populate all of it, alternating red and black. It's gonna look stupid, but it's gonna be stupid, but it's gonna look cool. I thought about, they have blue, I guess. I didn't realize they had blue until I'd already ordered, and so I guess if I had done blue and red, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so let's set this aside for a second. Or actually, no, I need to do one more thing. This is just the pure stupidity of it. Let's see here. Where's my screwdriver? Oh, where did I put my screwdriver? Put all the tools away before I went out on the road for work this week. Okay, so well, maybe I don't need to do that. No, I guess that's hidden well enough under there. I don't really need to. Yeah, that's staying in place. I was gonna zip tie the cable for the back fan, but it looks like it's fine the way it is, so we'll just leave it. Feel like, what am I missing? Those are plugged to that. Those are actually almost silent. Those two go there, and then I think we have, if we wanted to use it later, we have one more open. One more? Two more? One more? I think just one more. What? Yeah, one more open fan header. I really wish, ooh, and you know what I'm missing actually? We got to put our front panel back on. Because we got to run, we got to run all of that too. Okay, let's see here. So this is our front panel. Let's see here. Man, I knew that seemed like too easy of a cable management run. It's like, what am I missing here? Okay. So we got that. So just put this all back in. I think these are supposed to go out through here. Okay, so there's all of that. And we should just be able to pull it all, yeah, so that all just comes right through. Bam! Okay. If I remember right. Oh shit. Oh, dang it. That was not what I was expecting. I forgot that it. Damn it. Let's do it? Okay, I guess I didn't totally toast it. You heard the crack, though. That was plastic cracking. Okay, so it's back in place. We're good. Nothing's really broken, so we're fine. So, okay. Some of these I'm not going to use. I'm thinking we're only going to use power and reset. Everything else I'm just going to tuck up here. I am out of, almost out of big zip ties. I used a lot of zip ties on this build. Okay, so then, ooh, you know, I wonder, didn't even think about making sure, where is it? It's in the, yeah, it's down in the bottom, so we need power to, and we need the button connectors to go to this one here. Really annoyed that I'm missing a grommet, but whatever. We'll just do this, just so it looks even. So we'll have, try to make it so I don't run anything through that one, so that if I find it later, which I probably will, I can still, oh yeah, okay, so we run USB 3 through this one. USB 3, you gotta be a little bit careful with. I find it tends to have a higher, should I say, easier damageability. Okay, let's just do, let's see. There we go. Okay. Gotcha. Really wish they'd move more to like flat ribbon cables or something. Okay, let's do this. So we'll put a zip tie there and keep that up. Because down the lower part, down here, we're going to have, actually, we're going to have to use that. We're going to have the PCIe power cables to deal with here in a minute. Okay, more zip ties. I don't feel like I used that many, but I guess I did. Okay, then let's actually do this. Let's put this here just to keep these in their place. So I have decided this is going to be, this build is for the Titan Zs. It's not for anything else. Nothing else is going to be used, at least for the time being, with this build. I had originally intended this as kind of my ultimate X99 test bed. However, I already have another fairly nice we might not be able to run. Well, I guess I can do this. There we go, and do that. Because we're probably going to have a video card sitting here. Ooh, I wonder. You know what? That could be a problem. I might actually not use the front panel connector because I think, let's see here. This is just a random 980 I have sitting around. I think that, let's see. Yeah, I think that that audio plug is going to get in the way. Hope that the fan connector doesn't get in the way there. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong, though. I'm not sure what the height is on these. I might be wrong. Okay. How does it look? No, I think it is in the way. Let's see here. The heck? Well, maybe I'm wrong. That is really tight, though. Let's see. Can I put it all? I wasn't thinking. Let's see if we can. I guess well. No, I guess I'm wrong. I guess we can put stuff there and it doesn't get in the way. I guess it should be designed that way. Let's do this. Let's put that under there. And then we'll run this out. Probably the same one. This will go right here. Let's do the same thing. This is a trick I've shown on my videos before. Tuck the cable up under the motherboard. Okay. That gives us that. Okay, then all we need is, ooh, you know, I don't know if that reset switch is long enough. We're tight on the switch lengths here. That is definitely for, on the cable lengths for these switches. That is for sure. Let's see here. Trying to run that underneath everything. I may end up only doing the power button because on a build like this, you don't actually need. Okay. Power. Yes. Okay. I guess I could have gone up here. That was an option. No, let's just do that. So I think I'll just run this over. Just kind of, usually I'll just kind of braid them around something and just tuck them out of the way. Okay, so everything is good to go. So now, what we're going to do, let's do one more of these over here. So now we got to pull the Titan Zs out of their current home. Let's set this aside for just a minute. Bring my original Titan Z build in. So this is in a Corsair 500D SE, which is now my favorite case of all time. For those of you familiar with the Corsair 1000D, this visually is the exact same case. On the outside, it is the same case. This is not good. Oh, I guess I can do that. So, from the outside, if you saw a photo of a 1000D and you saw a photo of one of these, if you didn't know what you were looking for, even though this is like, I don't know, a third the size of the 1000D, you wouldn't know. And that's why that happened to me at one time. I thought a guy had a 500D SE, and he ended up to have a 1000D, so. Okay. Ugh. So then, this back in the picture. So now is the part where I get to find out if my clever little plan, if my clever little plan is going to work. Okay. Moment of truth here. Well, I don't know really if it works until, where did I put, gosh darn it, where did I put the, I just realized I have no idea where my flexible SLI ribbon went. I'm going to have to find that in a minute. That is not good. I need that. Darn it. Where did I put that thing? I have no idea where I put that SLI ribbon. I had a long, flexible one, because we need a fairly long one for what I'm doing here. Okay, whatever. We'll put it in, and we'll see if the cards even fit how I want, and go from there. So, okay. We want to take, where's my screwdriver? Yeah, where did that thing go? I can't believe I would have, I wonder why I even took it out. That's weird. Okay, so let's do this. I'm not a huge fan of the way they did this 3-slot bracket on the Titan Z. They could have made it 2 slots. So I don't know why they... It would have been something kind of like a Strix card where the cooler is just slightly hangs over the bracket. It didn't need this 3-slot bracket, though. That was not necessary, so I'm kind of annoyed they did that. They probably did it on purpose so that they can say, see, it's a 3-slot card. If I remember right, at least the 7990 actually needed the 3 slots. Okay, so the question is, I think it did what I wanted. Look at that. Okay, come on, guys. Have you ever seen an SLI build like this before, where you actually didn't have to cook? I would ideally like this a little bit lower, or this shifted all a little bit higher. But that being said, this is going to run fairly cool. And then with all of the air blowing through, worst case scenario, let's see, I wish they had all just been, because it's got all these slots, I wish they had all just been X16 slots, and even if it didn't have enough bandwidth to run them all as X16, it let you choose what you wanted where. So you could, so any one of them would be able to run X16, just not all of them. I wish it were like that. That would be better. That would make me happy. That'd be perfect for this use case. So, okay, so I'm kind of debating how I want to do the PCIe cable runs, or the PCIe power cable runs. Do I want to do... I'm kind of leaning towards doing... Well, maybe I'll... Let's see if they're... Well, let's see how long they are first. Let's see how long they are to see how creative we can get. Where did I put the cables? I know I had them sitting around here somewhere. Oh, there they are. Okay, so... Now, I believe we want, if possible, to have separate cables and not, let's see what we have. Okay, looks like we have one of each for each. So, how do we want to do this? So I'm thinking... I kind of like the idea of these cables being completely out of the way of the airflow. If it's physically possible to do, I like that. So let's see if it's physically even possible to do that. Because remember, this entire build's purpose is these GPUs. So, this will be kind of a cool way to highlight them too. Okay, so we'll do 2 of these. Okay, so the question is, are these cables long enough they might actually be. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, this is going to make me happy if they are. They just might be. Ooh, they might even be. Ooh, they might actually even be long enough. Yes. Okay, we might be able to do this. Let's see if we can. I'm fully expecting that they won't be. I didn't expect that to work, okay? Maybe it still won't. It's going to be close. It's going to be really freaking close. Let's see what we got here. Let's... Now we might have to unplug some of this to make this go. So unplug the motherboard one. Okay, so... Okay, I think we can make this work. At least for one of them. I'm thinking the other one is actually going to be less tight, but I could be wrong. Wait, what is going on? Oh, that's the wrong cable. Okay, so we plug that in there. Bam. Okay, so... Okay, so let's see... Okay, I think we can make this work. Like, to the degree I wanted it to work, too. Okay, let's see if we can do the other two. Ooh, this is going to be awesome if we can do the other two. Okay. You? And where's my other one? Tell me I lost one. Now, if I had known there were different, if I had known there were some different options here, I probably would have ordered some cable length extensions just to make life a little easier, but... okay, so let's... That unplugged. That unplugged. Okay, so... I'm thinking this is going to work. I didn't think it was at first. So this is going to look really cool. You guys don't probably realize. I mean, you can probably tell. This is going to look cool, though. Okay, so flip that back over. Where is it? VGA, VGA. Okay, so... Now this is where it would have been really nice if they had done a, my grommet was starting to come out. If they had done a power supply shroud, oh man, that would look so nice. Okay, bam. I guess I could make one. I'm not really that big on fabbing, you know, like custom fabbing your own stuff. Like that's just not really my gig. Okay, so then you go there. What is this? That goes all the way up. So that goes there. This goes there. That's actually a little tighter than I'd like. Actually really tight. But okay. It goes there. Okay, so I think so we are going to run the second one. I think there might be enough cabling to do it too. So we run the second one up here. I think so. I guess the only one of these that'll be useful is the middle one, but that's okay. Like I said, we're not going to be doing a heck of a lot of 2.5 SATA in this build. This isn't a 2.5 SATA build, so no, we'll be good. Oh, no, you know what? I was thinking I was going to put them both through the same one. So, let's see. And then one was going to go to this, one to that. I think this will work, though. Yeah, I think we got enough length to do it. Find out here soon. Okay, so... I wish they were a little bit longer. I'm a slight bit short. And this is kind of the last item though, so I mean if I really want to do the cabling a little bit different for the PCIe, I can always modify it just a little bit. Okay, so this is what we want. This is still going to look really awesome. It's not going to be quite as out of the way of the airflow, I think, as I had hoped, for now anyway, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so then, okay, no, it's gonna work. Okay, look. Oh, yes. I am so happy. Okay, so let's do one more in the center there. Does that even fit? Does it not fit? Yes, that doesn't fit. Okay. I have to use a smaller size. Okay. Now, bam. Okay. So that goes like that. My dream should be apparent now as to what I'm trying to do here. Okay, you know, I might even be able to get one down at the bottom too. It's a little, let's see, can I? I can, okay. And that'll just keep it all completely out of the way. So, I'm doing, if you saw how I did, okay, if you saw that one, the first one I did where I used the fans themselves, the mounting, the screw mount holes for the fans themselves, that's what we're doing. Okay, and then I need, oh man, this might not work. Oh no. It'll work, it's a question of can I get, just a really weird angle. I think I can do it though. Okay, I think we're good. Let's use these and pull it through. Okay, so then, this is starting to get kind of heavy too. Okay, so then we just use that and do the same thing we did up top. Let's see if we can at least make them look clean. Okay. So, this is actually, the cable bundle in both of these is actually kind of rigid. It's kind of cool. Okay, one more in the center. Bam, look at that. This is why we build PCs, folks. This is why. This is why I do anyway. Look at that. Come on. Is that not the most gorgeous SLI build you have ever seen? It's... it's a real shame that all the aesthetics we have today with all the lights and that kind of stuff didn't come until a few years after most of this was obsolete, because all of this stuff with kind of some of the, like if we did these, because I'm trying to do this period accurate, right? That's part of it. But like if there were RGB accents on the Titan Zs, and this case were a little bit more modern with tempered glass and stuff, like if all of the kind of the modern look was just like 5 years earlier, which is this, because all of the modern look that we know today, fundamentally, I mean, stuff's always changing, but fundamentally, the look that you see on new PCs today really was kind of pioneered around 2017, 2018. Like that's really when the RGB thing really kicked off and went into high gear. Okay. Okay, so cable management is done. The build is basically complete. We got to slap a few things back on, but it's fundamentally complete. So that's what we've got to work with. Now the question is, does it work, right? So not just will it power on. We know it'll power on. Let's see if I have... It looks like I got another... Is that an SLI or is that a... I think that's a Crossfire. Let's see here. I'm going to be... Okay, I think this might be... Okay, I got another SLI. Let's see if this will work. That's not long enough. Oh, you suck. Okay, I'm going to have to find my other one, because I think my other one was one size larger than this. So I'm going to kill the recording for now, and maybe I'll come back with kind of a final once we've verified everything works. So stay tuned. This is it. This is the final build with the Titan Z. Well, mostly final. So the one thing I wasn't able to accomplish with the build was I couldn't get quite the card spacing I wanted. I couldn't get an SLI bridge long enough. All the research I did suggested the one that I have is already the longest. There was one longer on Amazon, but it had some reviews suggesting people were having issues with it. So I went with this. I think I might try to get one that's in a little better condition, though. I think I can get a new ASUS one, a new ROG one that's black, and it'll look a little better than that. But fundamentally, this is the whole build. So I hope you guys like this. I think it's the ultimate SLI build. I don't think that you could make a more quintessential SLI build than this. I mean, I think the thing is absolutely gorgeous. Normally, I like a lot of RGB, but in this case, I think the build is exactly what it needs to be. It's a little bit loud when I crank the fans, which I expected it to be. But it does keep the both of the GPUs from pegging at the absolute maximum, which I think is like 91 Celsius or something. I think one of them under maximum load pegged at like 85 and the other was like 83 or something. So I think I don't know if it's able to go higher because of the cooling, or if it's just impossible to get these things down much lower without liquid, but it is what it is. And I have cooled these two GPUs, I think, as cool as we can reasonably get them. So anyway, I hope you guys, if you somehow made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the build, and thanks for watching.